What's going on, guys? My name is RagingRaptor, and well, today I want to have a look at the new Road to Berlin event with you guys and give you my first impressions of the mode. Obviously, the mode is coming out on the 4th of May on Monday of the next week, and it will be available for around 2 weeks, which is pretty darn chill. First things first, what is the big and most important thing about the mode? Well, you are able to grind yourself the IS-2 shielded. Basically an IS-2 with some add-on armor which should help against heat rounds. But let's be honest, it will be hard to judge if that actually will be any worth it. I will, however, do a video on that later at the date when there will be some more information about the IS-2 shielded as a tank itself for us CCs. So now let's have a quick look at the whole thingy, and I'll try to give my best try to explain it just from the text. Obviously, Wargaming did a pretty decent job with the video themselves, but I also want to talk about some things which may or may not be interesting. The first thing I do want to point out is, come on, Wargaming, 3 units of Soviet tanks and just 1 of American and just 1 of British. Come on. I know you are a Russian-based game, but come on. And apparently, they decided to not include some lightly armored tanks, which kind of makes sense because as far as it looks like, we are going to have some maps which are pretty darn enclosed. So, what will be the most important thing about this event? We're going to have 4 maps. At the beginning only 3, and at a later date, at 8th of May, Berlin will be added to the queue as celebration of when Berlin was, or I think when the when the war finally ended. They wrote it somewhere, I might be wrong, I don't have everything memorized to know Anvil. But basically we have 4 different maps at later stages of the event, and each of those 4 maps has 5 stages. First one always will be capture zone A, then defend zone A, like we can see it here, capture zone A, for example this part right here. Then we have to defend this zone. Here it is not entirely sure yet if you will, for example, have to defend from here or from here. From what I've heard, however, it will be same as in Homefront, where they always will come from the same position. Then stage 3, you have to once again do an attack on a defensive position, and after that you, as far as I know, do have to defend zone B and break through the defenses, while lastly then finally killing the baddest of badassery, the commanders which are playing in, or which are being tanks which are the strongest, for example a Tiger II with Henschel turret, or the most baddest and most fearsome adversary. So yeah, they do say, however, please keep in mind that there will be a little bit of a longer queue time. There are, as far as I know, plans to include a new server, EU3, for just this event to test out how properly it is going to work out and how properly it is going to work out for a later date. And for the people asking, as far as I know, the EU3 server will be located in Luxembourg. So for people which are maybe in the Balkanic region, will have a little bit more issues connecting to that server, like higher latencies, where people from Great Britain, Germany, France, Switzerland, and maybe Italy and Spain will have it a little bit easier on the EU3 server. But again, this is not 100% confirmed. I'm quickly going to skip over the orders thingy, and now the point is, in this game you will have 3 different tank respawns. It's the same thing as in Frontline. You just have a maximum number of respawns. In total it's 5, but at the beginning of the game you have 3. But you can get 2 additional spawns for completing battle missions. Here it is not entirely certain yet what is meant with battle missions. I think it is meant to do those stages. But yeah, in total you can get up to 5 respawns in your vehicles. And it is very, very interesting because it doesn't look like that this time you have to play the lower tier tanks as well. You only can play, or you can always choose to always play just 1 vehicle. I'm not entirely sure though, this is just some guesswork again. We didn't have the opportunity yet to play this mode. So There is a special progression system in it, and there are also assault orders. There are only 2 progression parameters, meaning the Unix experience, which is important for your own unit, and victory points, which is used to get them your progression points. So in this is pretty interesting. Like, this victory points gives you those different rewards, where again you have a discount on the IS-2S, then another one, and in the 4th stage you get it for free, as well as an universal manual. And lastly, you are able to get a bounty ventilation, which is obviously like a bounty tank, which is like an improved rammer events. You can just upgrade it for 3 million credits, and you can build it out of your tank for free, or not for free, excuse me, for 10 gold, which is pretty darn neato. So yeah, there's also an interesting point to get. Every single day you get an order per of your different units, and you will have 5 different units. We're going to have a look at them just in a bit, and they are refreshing each day. So I think, personally speaking, it is the best to always do each unit once per day, and maybe focus on the ones which are not level 3 yet after that. So for example, let's say on the first day you are playing each and single unit once, and maybe we'll say, because one game was amazingly good, you got, for example, unit Winged Spearhead, or I don't know, yeah, let's say Winged Spearhead. I got them already now. Winged Spearhead, you are getting them to level 2, for example. After that, and if you finished all the other units, I would highly suggest to either focus on making the Winged Spearhead first level 3, because the higher your level is, the higher your unit progression level is, the more points you're getting. It's also important to note that you are going to get special bundles where you can buy for in-game gold some of those orders with additional part, though they will give you 10 times amount of victory points and unit experience. And lastly, there are special missions in random battles which give you up to 15 times multiplier, which is a pretty decent booster. They did point it out that this booster will be especially useful for you to do in random battles when the queues are getting too long on the PvE event. So, what exactly are the different units things? So, it's pretty interesting. You have this medium tank unit, which consists of T-3485, the T-3485M, which has slightly more armor and a little bit better DPM, and the T-4485, just the T-4485 millimeter gun, if you reach level 3. Again, it is not entirely sure if those tanks will have a cooldown themselves, or you can constantly spam the same thing, because, let's be honest, then you will always pick the T-4485 if you can always pick him when you are level 3 in this unit. Each and every one of those units do have 2 active thingies. For example, here, the Winged Spearhead one does have the Katyusha rocket launcher. Can you please not? Which causes damage, destroys modules, and ignites vehicles inside the selected area. And they were going to have incendiary shells, which, well, if soon as they penetrate, the next shot which penetrates, you will going to set the enemy on fire for sure. So I'm not entirely sure if those things will have a cooldown or will have a limited amount of use. As far as I know, from what I've seen in the gameplay Wargaming showed so far, those things have limited time of use. But again, I'm entirely sure. You can see it down here a little bit, because for some reason I can't make this bigger, because VG. So yeah. Then we have the Ironside, which are the heavy tank group, which has the IS-1, which is an IS with, as far as I know, a 100mm gun. The IS-2 and the IS-2V. The IS-2 having the stock D22T gun, and the IS-2V is basically IS-2 Berling with having the real D25T gun, which is like the big 122mm 390 Alpha gun. They will have a mortar strike and a minefield. Will be interesting to see how the minefield works. Last time in Homefront you could use it to YOLO bomb, so that was a little bit awkward and funny. The Beast Slayers are the TD group, which are Su-85M, the Su-100, and the Aishu-122S, which will be a beast when it comes to DPM. And they have an attack aircraft and the incendiary shells, which you already talked about. If I'm not mistaken, the attack aircraft can do a shite ton of damage, but I don't think it's the same one which we had before. So let's keep on moving. Then we have the American Battalion, which has the M4A2 Sherman, a Jumbo Sherman, and a Pershing, the Eagle 7 to be precise. So obviously, you will always try and use the Pershing if you can, because the Jumbo Sherman has a howitzer, and from what I've seen, the Germans will have a lot of tough stuff and no lights whatsoever. They will have an airstrike which also drops bombs, and it looks like it could be the same thing-ish like this one, but I'm not entirely sure when it comes to the damage. And lastly, we have the Brits, which are going to give you some heavy tank like the Churchill 4, Churchill 7, and the Black Prince. And here they have artillery strike and full throttle, which gives you an acceleration on your vehicle. I'm a little bit saddened. The Brits back in Homefront had a skill which is like an adrenaline rush on steroids. And you could get your reload down to like 1 second for 170 damage. That was amazing. It's a pity that this fell out. But yeah, apparently there is also a special bundle which gives you some orders, premium days, and some personal reserves. You have to know for yourself if you really want to buy them. Again, I'm going to make a more detailed video about this when the thingy came out, the event. Again, the real one is the IS-2S, which has this additional armor screen plate. From all the IS-2 premiums, it has the best gun handling when it comes to gun soft stats, but other than that, it's below average with aim time as well as mobility. Especially the mobility took a hard hit. And again, you can sequentially get out those operation stages where you get 25% off 50, 75, 100, and lastly get the vents. I want to point out, you are not getting any money from the mode. You're literally playing it for fun and for the things right here. Keep that in mind, because I can imagine that some people may or may not be pissed off about that, or will say, hey, that's great, it's just a fun mode. We're going to have 4 maps again. Berlin will be at a later stage. They did say when the war ended in Europe, excuse me, my bad if I said anything else. It looks like we're also going to have Rheinberg, and we're going to have a part of the frontline map, Normandy. So yeah, that is basically everything we know about the mode right now. It is going to look like a very, very interesting mode, and I look forward to playing it. Maybe we're going to do some some community things. Maybe I can hook up with some community contributors. Maybe we're going just to do some community games like me and some of you viewers. So for that, please maybe check out my twitch.tv/RagingRaptor_WOT channel. Bear in mind though that usually I am streaming in German. Maybe I'll say that I am going to stream in English on Wednesday to just give you guys also some point to hold on to. So lastly, I want to know from you what exactly you think about this mode. Let me know in the comment section below, because I'm going to give away some more premium days, which I can have still left over from the Brawl event. I think it's 2 7 days and 2 3 days premium. So let me just know in the comment section below what you think about the mode. And yeah, then I will pick some random viewers which I'm going to contact. But that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the battlefield. Cheers, guys.